Movement, how we doing tonight? Woo. I thought it was going to be really lame. This is cool. I like the vibe. This feels like campfire-esque. I mean, I'll rock with it if we're rocking with it. Hey. Which? Yeah, now it's still, yeah. One of the buttons, I think, I fully have confidence in everyone back there. There we go. Let's give it up for our tech team tonight. Rocking it. Absolutely rocking it. So glad that you're here. Did everybody have a good summer? Yeah. Okay, so summer sucked. I'm glad we acknowledged that. That's really good to know. Let's see. I did a few things this summer. I went to some Royals games. I saw 3 walk-offs this summer, including a balk-off. So that was awesome summer. It's a pitching thing that is hard to explain, and they won, and that's all that matters because they don't do that very often. Let's see. I also, the best parts of my summer, honestly, almost, were seeing you guys around. I saw Cadron at Sweet Thang. I brought in, it was a little embarrassing because I brought my whole family with me. And I was like, oh, Cadron works here. I didn't know she's working, and that was awesome. And so she got to meet Todd and Kim and all of the fun people, and Todd got 2 scoops of ice cream for one dude, so that's always interesting. Todd's not actually my dad, it's Madison's dad, but it's all the same, right? Let's see. What else did I do this summer? I got married since the last time we met at Movement. And I don't want to brag about it or anything, but I actually, if you're cool with it, I have just a couple pictures. If you are cool with just seeing a couple of them. Okay, so this first picture has 2 on it. We actually didn't do engagement photos ever, and so we did engagement photos at our location, and so that was fun. We did a bunch. Our photographer was awesome. Took over 1,000 pictures that were included in our package, so that was awesome. We won't get to all 1,000 tonight. This next one is just some pictures from the ceremony. It was super small. It was awesome. Weather was awesome. It literally was just. Now don't show the next one yet. Here's what I want to make sure we understand. Okay, I want this on the record that I did not cry, and Madison was actually the one that cried the most. And I actually have a picture to verify that. Can we see? Oh, you weren't supposed to show that one. No, actually, Madison cried for 0.2 seconds, and I cried the whole entire time. The videographer had a mic on me, and she said it's hard to make the video because you can't really understand what I'm saying. And that's not my personality. I think it was just the moment that was just really impactful for me. So I don't know, but it was a long summer. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be at Movement, and Movement didn't meet in its regular rhythm like this all summer, but we did do a ton of other stuff. Raise your hand if you came to anything Movement over the summer. Yeah, we did all kinds of fun stuff. How about if you were at camp? It was one of the best weeks of the summer for me. I don't know about you guys. We did Andy's Ice Cream. We played kickball and putt-putt. We partied at Heartland Summer Nights. We had a pickleball tournament. Our champions in the room tonight? Jalen, but the Oreos, right? Yeah, Oreos pulled off the win. We had camp. We had an incredible glow performance. Where are glow peeps at? Yeah, we did a lot of awesome stuff this summer. We ended with a pool party. And if there's anything that this summer taught me, it's that even though I've been here now almost a year, which first of all, that's crazy, but if there's anything I learned this summer, it's that Movement really means a lot to me, and not having a weekly rhythm and not getting to see you guys every week wasn't super fun for me. And so I am super glad that we're getting to be back in this kind of weekly rhythm. I love that we're starting a new series, and we have a bunch of new faces in the room. If it's your first time ever at Movement, you're a freshman, new leader. I don't want to call anybody out, but I'm going to call you out. Will you raise your hand really quick? If it's your freshman, yes. Yeah, freshman too. Okay, good. I'm glad that I had to explain that to you guys because it wasn't clear enough when I explained it the first time. So if we haven't met yet, my name is DJ. I'm the high school pastor here, and Wednesdays are my favorite day of the week. I was born in Oklahoma, unfortunately, but I'm a diehard Chiefs fan, Royals fan, as you can see by the gear. I love Chick-fil-A, cheese, and Diet Coke are 3 just kind of fun, fast facts about me. And the last time I introduced myself to you guys was one of my first Wednesdays here, and I told you a fun fact about me is that I had never had a burrito. That was true. Well, you cannot believe me now because I have had a burrito. And I really don't like them. I don't. I'm sorry. I think it's, if there was a burrito without the beans, I think it's fine. I'm just not really a beans guy. So at least I can check that off my list. Well, movement is really, truly one of the most special places to me. And this week we're starting a new series called Dream. We all have dreams. We all dream. Maybe some of us, we dream at night. Maybe some of us, we like daydream and we sit in class and maybe we dream about like relationships or achievements or different things. We all have different ways of dreaming and things that we dream of. And we'll set this up more next week. But kind of what I wanted to do tonight, since it's our first week, I want to talk a little bit about what my dream is for like this space. Because I think there's something really cool that's happening in high schools all over Kansas City because of you guys. And I wanted to kind of share what we hope this experience is like for you. Maybe it's for your next 4 years. Maybe it's for your like last 8 months. Sorry, seniors in the room. But movement, firstly, I want you to hear this, is going to be, your experience here is going to be exactly what you make it. And if you choose to show up every week and have an awesome time, you're going to show up and you're going to have an awesome time. And so we love that we have a student team that's me and Shib and Sagan. You'll meet all of these people, and especially say you'll meet them more as we go throughout the semester. But we have a team of student people that are on staff that love students, and we love what we get to do, which is help you guys have an awesome time here, but also make space for building relationships that make Jesus first. So just a fun side note, if any of you are ever here on Sunday mornings, this Sunday, something really special is, I'm biased. This Sunday, something really special is happening. I'm actually preaching, like, on the main stage. Yeah, I know. And so in the interest of not crapping my pants right now, I won't talk about it anymore. But both. And I would love to, the thing is, I would love to see you guys there, because what I don't want to do is, like, I'm going to brag on you guys for a minute in front of all of the, like, hundreds of people that show up, and I don't want to go, like, where's movement at? Like, Heartland always has loved students, and I think they think we have students, and so I'd like that to be reflected a little bit also. So if you can, just choose to make one of the services 9 or 11. We would love to see you there, and I love when you guys get to hear how much I talk about how much I love this, because it's true, and I hope that you guys can feel that through the adults in the room. So with that being said, I want to kind of talk about tonight a few things that movement is and isn't, and kind of help you figure out maybe what your experience at movement will be like this year. First of all is this: movement is a community, not a country club. Now, I'm not going to call out country club peeps. I don't want to, but there has also been this kind of perceived idea. Now, that doesn't mean it's necessarily true, right? Or maybe this thought that some people have made. But there's this sometimes perception that at country clubs, there's a list of things you have to do to belong to this country club. You may have to pay a lot of money. You may have to look presentable, maintain your yard really well. You have to often keep your car clean and your garage cleared out. They often are full of people that have similar hobbies, political beliefs, and there's kind of known to be sometimes this cliquey attitude. You have to have it all together, and if you don't, you better not let people hear about it. That's the reality, or not the reality, but that's the perception a lot of times of a country club setting. And that couldn't be further from the opposite about truth of movement. Movement is a space where you can experience community in its truest sense. There's no list of things you have to do or check off the box to be a part of being at movement. There's nothing that you are forced to come in with believing or forced to act. We're not going to try and get you to behave a certain way. That's not what we do. We're simply going to make space for you to experience Jesus in a unique way, and we love that we get to students all over Kansas City into that. I think that's a cool thing about Heartland and about students is that you really actually don't have to have your life together at all, because the reality is most of us don't. I don't want to make anyone feel bad, and so I'm not going to call anyone out, but if I were to ask how many of you feel like you have your life figured out, if you raise your hand, it feels a little naive. I know that I'm young saying that, but I feel like there's some truth to that at any point, even when certain things are figured out, there's other things that we don't have yet. So the reality is movement is a place where you can come even if you don't have anything figured out at all, when your life is falling apart, when you don't have it all together. You don't have to have similar hobbies. This is a space that you have room to disagree about things, because that is the thing that God will actually use. God will use our differences and make it a really cool community, which is what the truest picture of the church is. So whether you've been a Christian your whole entire life and you're absolutely crushing it, or maybe you're a Christian and you're struggling, if you have doubts or you have a lot of church hurt, or maybe you're doubting altogether that there is even a God, this is a space for you. And that will never change. Like, things change and trends change and the music we use in videos change because times change and things that won't change. That movement is a place for you to bring in wherever you're at and show up how you are and find community. And that's one of my favorite things about movement. Community doesn't mean we're all the same. It means that we're all different and a reflection of the heart of Jesus. And our differences actually help us to be a stronger community. Year after year, people find their best friends at movement. Right now, there are college freshman roommates that did not go to the same high school that are they at Missouri? Is it K-State, Brooklyn, and yeah, they're at K-State. They met at movement, and they didn't go to the same high school, and they're roommates because people find community here every single week. And so movement is a space where you can be yourself. I think sometimes there's a perception of this country club life, and really, I mean, if we're being honest, sometimes this is in the church too. I don't want to miss that mark, that sometimes there's kind of this exact same perception that is present that a lot of people have of Christians as well. What we get to do at Movement is we get to be countercultural, and we get to help people experience Jesus in a new way. That doesn't just mean you, that means that you get to be a part of that, helping people experience Jesus in a new way at your schools, at your jobs, at home, all of those things. So what I want to get at the core of this is that movement is real. Movement is a place where you can be authentically you. And real means two things. For movement, it means that for movement to be real, you have to be the real you. It's a safe place for you to experience the things that you experience. It's an environment for you to bring your questions, your doubts, and struggles. It also means living out who you really are and dealing with your faith. We all know the Mitch Holtis, the you can doubt the Chiefs. You can dislike the Chiefs, you can disrespect the Chiefs, but you're going to have to deal with the Chiefs, right? Movement is my favorite day of the week, not only because we get to have tons of fun, but because we have real conversations. And while the disrespecting and the dislike things aren't part of movement, having a space to deal with it is a part of what we get to do, is wrestle with our faith. And we get to experience our doubts and not just shove them away. We get to think through them, and that's a huge part of what we do. There are moments in my life, though, where I can honestly say, I have disrespected God. I don't want to, come off as someone who's, higher. There are moments where I have disrespected God, or I have disliked, or I have yelled at it, because that's, been a real part of my journey. And at the bottom of that has always been this dealing with of God kind of not dealing with me, but letting me deal with him. Reckoning, okay, this is how things are going to work, and, this is for the betterment of myself. So we can embrace the truth and beauty in a real and authentic relationship and struggle with God. Ashton, last year on student night, gave a message and talked about come and go faith, and how that's actually a good thing, because even if you go, you keep coming back. And that's so important, and that's something that we get to do here that I love. We also talk about awkward things. People who have been a part of movement, do you agree with that? Do we talk about? Yeah, we talk about awkward things. To be relevant and real means that we have to have some awkward conversations. And some of you know where I'm going with this, but we have a rule at Movement, and it sounds like this. At Movement, we embrace the awkward. We embrace the awkward, totally. So what does that mean? Has anyone ever had an awkward moment? Yeah, for me, mine was, we were on a 5th grade field trip. I've had a lot of awkward moments. This is just one that stands out at the moment. And I don't know why this one stands out, because it's going to seem weird when I tell the story. 5th grade field trip, we went to Frontier City in Oklahoma City, and we were at a McDonald's eating really quick before we went home. And I'm me and my friend Jadrian were all right, let's go to the bathroom before we get on the bus. And then we all of a sudden hear footsteps, and then they sprint out. And we're what's going on? And then our 5th grade teacher comes in, Miss Fales. She goes, "What are you doing in the girls' bathroom?" And so that was just awkward, because when I came out, everyone was just looking at me, and it felt really uncomfortable. So I don't recommend that we embrace the whole idea of going to the wrong bathroom. But awkward conversations and awkward things, we talk about awkward. When we embrace awkward moments and weird topics, it's God honoring. And out of awkward moments, really amazing things can happen. We'll talk about dating, and we'll address awkward truths and step on toes, and we'll make things uncomfortable. And when you leave this place after your senior year, I hope that you're not just leaving with Bible knowledge, or being able to quote a bunch of, that's not the point. The point is that you have a real faith, that we've prepared you to have a relationship with Jesus that has prepared you to interact with culture and the world, a real, relevant faith. We're going to have a ton of fun this year, and I love that we get to do this, but I want to quickly walk you through, if you're new to Movement, just a couple housekeeping things. You're not forced to like sit in here the whole entire time. If you have to go to the bathroom, there are bathrooms just across the hall. Typically, we'll hang out in the atrium when we're here. This week we were out kind of outside, so we'll either be here or there. If it's empty in there, go out there. If it's empty there, go over there. Just like a bottom line, basic kind of thing. What we typically do is we hang out for a little bit. Sometimes there's food. Sometimes we're just hanging out. We'll come in here and we'll do a message. Sometimes we'll do some games. Sometimes we'll do worship. And then we'll go to small groups. And small groups kind of happen all throughout the building, and you'll get to experience that in just a second. That's just kind of like the basic rundown of how a night goes, because there's a lot of people in the room. But really, if there's ever a question you have, or you've ever got something you want to talk with someone about, there's space for that, and you can find anyone in one of these green lanyards, and we would love to help you know Jesus. That's kind of the bottom line. I'm going to pray, and we're actually done with the message tonight, and we just have some activities for you to do in groups that you're going to get to hang out with your small group people. So I told the leaders, and I'll tell you this, the key tonight is laughter, so the whole entire point is just to have a good time tonight. We're just hanging out, and then next week we'll get into it. Don't forget next week to wear your Chiefs gear. Is that cool with everybody? Cool. I'm going to pray. God, thank you so much for this space and for this time that we get to have with you, and for Wednesdays. We're so glad to be back together. We just pray for a really awesome semester of movement and a really awesome year for these students. Just bless this time together, and we pray all these things in your name. Amen.